Haley Morgan, a 31-year-old woman living with type 1 diabetes, was taken to San Haven Health's Briarwood Mercy Medical Center in West Odessa on April 6, 2023, after suffering a diabetic episode. 2 days later, she spoke to her mother, Linda Morgan, asking to be picked up from the hospital, a call that would tragically become their last communication. 3 days after the call, Linda phoned the hospital only to be told that no one by the name of Haley Morgan was admitted. After pressing further, she was informed that Haley had left the hospital against medical advice. Unsettled, her family launched an urgent and relentless search for answers. The Morgans filed a missing persons report, posted flyers across the city, rallied community support, and had Haley's profile added to the West Odessa Department of Justice's missing persons list. Days turned to weeks, then to months with no new leads until one fateful call. Over a year after her disappearance, a detective from the Broward County Sheriff's Office contacted the family. A death certificate for Haley Morgan had just been issued, nearly 362 days after her death. One of Haley's sisters went to the Broward County Coroner's office seeking her remains. To their shock, the coroner said she wasn't there and directed them back to the hospital. Linda Morgan eventually received a call from a mortuary. Haley's body had been discovered in cold storage at one of the hospital's off-site facilities. Haley's body had decomposed so severely over the year that an autopsy was no longer possible. Unbeknownst to her family, she had died just 2 hours after her final call to her mother. Her death, unreported for an entire year, now left no medical pathway to understand what went wrong. The Morgan family filed a $25 million lawsuit against San Haven Health/Briarwood Mercy Medical Center. The suit accused the hospital of negligence, mishandling of Haley's remains, emotional distress, and violation of West Odessa's health and safety code. According to family attorney Robert Greystone, Haley had battled diabetes since childhood and had been hospitalized over 20 times, including twice in the months leading up to her death. She also struggled with addiction and homelessness, further complicating her health journey. On April 9, 2023, the day after her death, Briarwood Mercy transferred Haley's body to cold storage. She was placed on shelf number Red 22A and forgotten. Despite Haley listing her mother as next of kin and the family's consistent communication with the hospital, they were never notified of her passing. A death certificate wasn't issued until April 4, 2024, nearly a year late, signed by a doctor who isn't named in the lawsuit. California law requires physicians to file such documentation within 15 hours of a patient's death. Yet no explanation has been offered for the delay. Because of the hospital's failure to notify the family promptly, no autopsy could be conducted. As the lawsuit states, this rendered it impossible to determine whether medical malpractice contributed to Haley's death. The decomposition ruled out any hope for an open casket funeral. Because they think of her now, they think of her on a shelf in a body bag instead of how she was, Attorney Greystone said. They don't really have the closure of knowing what the hell really happened. A year of silence, a body in storage, and a family left with more questions than answers. Haley Morgan's tragic death is a stark reminder of what happens when a healthcare system fails at its most basic responsibilities: communication, dignity, and accountability. Her case reveals the devastating consequences of administrative neglect. A year-long silence, a body forgotten on a shelf, and a family robbed of answers and closure. No family should have to file missing persons reports for a loved one who died in a hospital. No grieving mother should learn of her daughter's death through a detective nearly a year later. Subscribe to the White Coat Crimes for more shocking true stories, medical crimes, medical mysteries, and the dark side of healthcare you were never meant to see.